Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey.
It's time for an Amanda Exclusivo.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Amanda Exclusivo. I'm your host, Amanda Geffner. My guest today is one of my favorite Exclusivo OGs. That's right. Recently, he starred off Broadway at the New York Theater Workshop in Lights Out, Nat King Cole. Please welcome the very talented Nat King Cole. Dulé Hill.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. Glad to be here with crew Exclusivo. The Exclusivo crew.
Exclusively on
You can
the
call me Nat Hill
Exclusivo
Cole, I
Dulé.
guess. You know what I mean? Or Nat King Hill, or yeah. No, let's just stay with Dulé. Dulé Hill works better.
Let's stick to your name, Dulé. Well, Dulé, do you realize that it's been 4 years since our
Wow.
interview? You were my
Wow.
second guest ever on my
Really?
channel. Yes.
Really? Because we connected through wasn't it Rick?
Yeah. Hi, Rick.
Yeah, what's up, Rick Hoffman? How you
Yeah,
doing, man? Yeah, and so was he your first guest?
he
Look,
was.
look at that. I'm just pulling out all the things, you know what I mean? You know, audience, when I first got on, before we started, recording, I remember that Amanda was from New Jersey. 4 years
Yes.
later. We haven't spoken in 4 years, and it
You
was
still got it.
you see, it was in here, it was in here, you see?
True friends right here. That's
Oh
when you
yeah.
know. But what's
Yeah.
new for you? Like, how have you been? How's the family? What's going on in the world of Dulé?
Everything is good, we're very thankful to still be here, to be navigating life, maintaining our sanity in the midst of this insane world that we are living in. And I think in the midst of the challenges that you see in the world, you have to stay connected through love. Like you have to stay connected through love, and through that connection, you find joy. So I'm really grateful for my wife and my two children because they bring me so much joy. I just finished doing the theater piece, Lights Out, Nat King Cole in New York, and being away from the family for that extended period of time, it's not easy, especially for the young man. And I'm not talking about me being the young man, as you see with my gray hair. That the young part of it is starting to fade away. But but my son being, he's 6 years old. So glad for that to be. I'm glad to be back with the family.
No,
You
I'm
know,
glad that you're back, and
yeah.
it must have been fun for you to come back to New York City, right? So let's talk about Nat King Cole. So how were you approached about the role? And tell us what drew you to the show.
Years ago, like this is like in 2016. I ran into Patricia McGregor, who was the co-writer and director of the piece. I ran into her at a opening of a play that she had directed in LA. And then she had connected with Coleman Domingo, who's the co-writer. And then Coleman reached out to me to see if I would be interested in playing Nat King Cole. And my initial response was, "Are you crazy? Like Nat King Cole, like his voice is so iconic and so specific. The idea of singing any Nat King Cole songs to me was like a non-starter." And he said, "No, no, no, it's a play. It's a play. It's a couple songs, little snippets here and there, but it's more a play." And once I found out that they had approached Daniel J. Watts to play Sammy Davis Jr., then my interest really started to get piqued because I was a big fan of Coleman, a big fan of Patricia, and a big fan of Daniel J. Watts. So I went and did the workshop, which is where we sat down and we read the script. And once I realized the story that they were telling, I was hooked, because to be in the room with this level of genius in Patricia and Coleman and Daniel J. Watts, and to tell the story of Mr. Cole, to say these words, it was I was that was like the honey or the sticky glue that got me going on the journey, because I love how they look back on this American icon. And it's set back in 1957, as we are leading up to the final episode, or we are, yeah, approaching the final episode of the Nat King Cole show. And they're looking back at that time, but really we're talking about where we are today. And I always feel, if you're going to do historical pieces, you have to be willing to, in order for it to be relevant, it has to say something about where we are, in my mind. Otherwise, then what's the point? They say history repeats itself, and you can always
Yeah.
learn from your yesterday. So the idea that we were pulling the layers back on this American icon and getting at the soul of who we are as a nation today, that really got me excited to be a part of it. And I get a chance to sing, obviously, with Mr. Cole's songs. I get a chance to do these phenomenal words of Patricia and Coleman, and I get a chance to tap, do the amazing choreography of Jared Grimes. So, with Gregory Hines and Harold Nicholas and Hinton Battle being such big influences in my personal life and my artistic journey, the idea to be on stage doing all those things, this has all the things in one piece. So there was no way that I couldn't do it. So I'm truly honored to have been a part of this production.
It's amazing. And I know you love tap. You've been tapping since you were a kid and singing.
Mhm.
I want to know, Dulé, can you give me a little Nat King Cole here?
Ooh, it's early too. Let me let me see.
It's early for those of you that don't know that we're talking early, but
Yeah, let me see. What could I sing?
little something, Dulé. Come on.
Let me sing. What could I sing? In the evening, may I come and sing for you all the songs that I would like to bring to you. I wish you shelter from the storm. Ooh, it's early. A cozy fire to keep
Good.
you warm. But most of all, when snowflakes fall, that's early. I wish you love. Something like that.
Yay. But next
That's
time we
a,
got to tap. I'm gonna meet up with you in
next
person.
up.
You're gonna
Let's
teach
do it.
me.
All right.
Seriously, that has to happen
You know
because
what I
I need
mean?
to have a dance episode, and I
There we
think you and I
go.
should do that together. So I'm gonna hold you to it,
Let's
Dulé.
make it happen. You know what I mean? We'll get the tap shoes. You see?
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be another 4 years,
true. All right, so you're
No.
saying let's do this sooner rather than later.
Right.
So how did you prepare for the role, Dulé? Did it take some time?
I spent a, I mean, I read as much as I could about Mr. Cole and the deep dives about his life and the things that aren't so surface level. I did a lot of like video research. I have a whole playlist of his interviews and his live recordings to really start to understand how he approaches words and how his tone, and because he's very specific in that way. I even, I went as far as even finding out where his house was in Hancock Park, Los Angeles, and going and driving around the neighborhood, finding the house, standing outside, and just taking it in for a while. Because when he first moved to his home in Hancock Park, Los Angeles, the Coles were the first black family to move into the neighborhood, and they burned a cross on his lawn. They poisoned his dog. They shot a bullet through his window with his children in the house. And I just want to be in the space of there, just to take it in, to see the lay of the land and know what that must have felt like, to see how they even threw the meat over the fence to poison the dog, and just to get a little more connection to Mr. Cole. So I did things like that, and then I'm still anything that I can get my hands on. Anytime I can find a documentary or a piece about him or find an article, I'll read it, because it's always a work in progress. I don't know if this is going to be the final incarnation of the show. They are hoping to bring it to the Broadway stage. So
Fingers
I'm
crossed for you.
big, oh, I appreciate that. So I still will keep doing work along the way. And then if it by chance that does come to fruition, then I hopefully my roots will be even deeper.
Well,
You know,
I hope it does come to Broadway, Dulé, and this way we can do our tap dance. All
we
right,
actually could. There we go. You
we
see?
could.
Let's do it.
But
The show goes to Broadway, then let's make it happen.
we're gonna make it happen. But
That's
most of
right.
you guys know Dulé, obviously, from Psych, Suits, and West Wing. And me and you, we haven't talked since you were on Wonder Years.
Oh yeah.
Remember, you were getting ready to do that role. That was the last
Yeah.
time we talked to play
Mm.
Bill Williams. So, what was it like to hang up your suits at the law firm and become a family man?
Now, man. That's one of the joys that I have about television, really, is that or acting in general, but you get a chance to just change worlds, take off, like you literally take off a suit and put on a whole other suit, and to be able to leave the law world. I forgot what by the time we ended, it was what was it by the time it ended? Uh, I can't remember right now the names that were on the
It's
wall.
early, guys.
Yeah, I can't remember the names that were on the wall. Like, oh my gosh, lit. Anyway, You know you know the one that used to be Pearson Harding Pearson, the derivative of that law firm, being able to leave that and then go back in time into the 1960s. It's really a joy. I love t playing Bill Williams, and I love telling that story because, and I love it being the Wonder Years because I was a big fan of the original show. I loved it, but being a child in the 80s and growing up in the 80s, I was very cognizant of the fact that I didn't see myself reflected in this nostalgic world of wonder. So to be able to now go back and tell this story and widen the lens, or really just like turn the camera a little bit to say, oh, wow, that's the thing. I'm kind of going off on a little tangent a little bit,
Please.
but something that has been sticking out to me as of late is what does the camera not see? Like if you look at a photo and it's like, yeah, this is a photo of this moment in time, and this is this historical moment. What was going on the other side of the lens? Or if you turn the camera a little bit to the left, what would you see? You know, I'm at a place of of encouraging myself to look a little further than what is right there in front of my face. And so going back to the Wonder Years, I appreciate being able to expand the lens or turn the camera a little bit to say, yes, in the same period of time, there were many types of families that were having their Wonder Years as well. And to be able to show that to be able to play a black father with his family, being there for his family, loving his family, having all the joys and the challenges of raising his kids, it was truly an honor because we don't get a chance to see that too often, and especially the idea of a black father being present from that time. It's like, no, we black fathers have been present. There's always a story, this theme that's out there that black fathers are absent, which is so counter to my existence. I've growing up, I've saw so many black fathers being present. And now that I'm a black father, I know so many black fathers who are present. So to be able to do the Wonder Years and go back even to the 60s and to put that image out there on network television week in and week out was really, truly an honor. But I'm really on this thing of what does the lens not see? And here's the thing, the Wonder Years, that was still one version of the Wonder Years.
Right.
During that time, there were so many other Wonder Years happening too. There's so many other stories that have nostalgia too. And I think it's a beautiful thing when you can expand the lens, because as you do that, then you can start to, one, people can see themselves reflected, but then two, you could also see yourself connected. Because the same way I could watch the Wonder Years, the original one, as a child and find stories in there that I liked and connected to and can relate to my family, I think people can watch that Wonder Years and be like, oh, that's just like my mom or my sister or my uncle or my dad. And I think the more we can do that, when we can look over the fence and kind of see someone else's story and connect to it, it allows us to then connect to each other. And that's what I loved about telling that story. It's a long way of me saying I had a great time.
Well, it sounds like it, Dulé, and you're still like on the grind doing great things. So Good American Family was quite a role for you as well. So it's amazing how we don't know what occurs in the homes of average American families, right? So were you aware of this storyline before you auditioned?
I was aware of the, well, one, I didn't have to audition, thankfully. You know what I mean? Because I'm not really the best auditioner. I'm gonna tell you that. That's a little insight that, you know,
It's a Dulé Exclusivo right here.
that's a Dulé Exclusivo. I'm not really the best auditioner. I'm more of a let's do it.
I like that. Let's do it.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's do it. So I mean, so when I got offered the role, I was already aware of the story because I had seen some of the documentary
Mhm.
before, and I was really infatuated with the story because the fact that this one, again, it goes back to this theme that I'm on of look a little deeper. What
Right.
does the camera
Yes.
not see? Because there's an image that is being put out there, and oh wow, this is a good American family. This is, oh yes, they're doing so much. But then, if the camera was to zoom in a little closer or keep rolling, what is happening behind the closed doors is completely opposite of what we think it is. And I was really amazed that this could happen through our legal system. this person, as we do now know, that this child was re-aged to be an adult through our court system. And you would
Yes.
think like, no, well, the courts they're going to do things right. And the child had no voice for themselves in the midst of the process and had to go through all of this stuff to kind of re, I guess, get their age back to being the age that it should be. But then being that they were re-aged, were forced to live on their own. And it's this story that you would say, no. That if you wrote a script about it, just a script without it being based in reality, you would say, that's that's a little outlandish. That's not going to happen. Someone's not going to adopt a child uh, who's from the Ukraine that has dwarfism and go to the courts and have them re-age and then have them live on their own for X number of years. And that's just not going to happen. But it did in this country, in our legal system. And that was what attracted me to it, to be able to tell a story that hopefully inspires us to keep looking deeper, digging deeper. That is like this theme that I think I'm on as of now. To be able to work with, Imogen Faith Heath, who was phenomenal. She's a phenomenal actress. I mean, I was really just blown away at her performance and the work that she did. And then Ellen Pompeo and Mark
Yes.
Duplass and Christina Hendricks. And I mean, the list goes on of the cast that they were able to put together. It was truly, truly a joy for me to be a part of it.
Well, that's wonderful. It's a great cast and great series. Again, you really don't know what's going on inside anyone's house.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. And what I loved about how they put the story together, Katie Robbins and Sarah Sutherland, is the changing perspectives. When the point of view changes, you get a deeper revelation of the story. You get a different revelation of the story. And again, that's where we are, I think, in the world today. If we can just keep listening to other people's stories, other points of view, instead of just whoever says it the loudest, it must be saying it right. It's like, no, if we can challenge ourselves or inspire ourselves to look for different points of views of the same subject, we can get a deeper understanding of the whole picture. And that's really how they told the story was really marvelous in that way. Because from the beginning, you're like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. And then by the end, you're like, oh, I had no idea what was going on. You know, and
No, I
that
know
I
what
think
you
is
mean.
so true in life and where we are today as well.
No, I agree. And you were fantastic in the series, by the way, Dulé.
Thank you very much. I
Series.
appreciate it. Thank you, Amanda Exclusivo.
Of course, Dulé. I have another question for you, though, Dulé.
Mhm.
Or should I call you Flom Flom?
Hey, all right.
So, did you know that if you love yourself and let it shine, the world will smile at you with a big rainbow?
You know what? I do now.
You do? Okay.
Because if you sing a song that says that, then once you sing the song, then you kind of realize it. I didn't know before, but
So let's talk about your new animated special on Apple TV, Lulu is a Rhinoceros.
Mhm.
So did you do your simple act of kindness today, though, Dulé, before
Did I?
we get into it?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did. I think I did.
All right. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just checking. Just
Yeah.
that's what friends do.
You know what?
So
Because I was just having a conversation before we started talking, and I said, if we could all just do a little, if we all just do a little bit of something, then collectively we can do a lot.
yeah.
So, and in this conversation, I think that was my act of kindness in the moment of offering up a little bit of time to spend some time, and then I do my part, you do your part, you do your part, and collectively we can do a lot. So I think I did.
Okay, good. I mean,
Yes.
have you ever done voiceover work before? Like, it's great cast, by the way. You're working with Moana herself, Alalia Carvalho, and the
Yeah.
very talented Alex Newell, right? So that's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I have done some voiceover work before because I played Mr. Manny on Muppet Babies. Did you know that?
Mm,
Did you
I
know
do
that?
remember that.
Yeah, and then I also have a new Disney Plus, a Disney Junior series out that I'm in called Robo Gobo, where I play the protagonist. I play his dad. It's about rescued pets who rescue pets, and I played Dr. Vaughn, who was the what do you call it, the veterinarian for Metro Pet Park. or the city of Metro Pet, but so I've done some voiceover work before, but to be able to play Flom Flom was truly a joy. And I love what Alison Flom did with, speaking of which, the creator of the series is Alison Flom, hence the Flom
That's
Flom.
why you're Flom Flom.
You see? And she is based off of a book that she and her dad wrote, Jason Flom. So I guess the Flom Flom is the two of them coming together.
I'm
But I
seeing the
really,
resemblance already, Dulé.
you see? But I I love the story that they were telling there because it really is just about one, knowing who you are, loving yourself, and knowing that you are perfect exactly the way that you are. And that is a beautiful thing. If we can share that with each other, if we can share that with children to grow up. In this day and age, there's so many images telling us that we need to be something other than ourselves. You know, day in, day out, you go on social media, it's always about, you know, what somebody else is doing, and this is what we should be doing. But to be able to plant that into the lives of young souls that you are perfect exactly the way that you are beautiful exactly the way that you are. No one can tell you who you are more than you can tell yourself. That is a powerful thing. I mean, I think if we can grow, allow space for people to grow up loving themselves, then that creates the space for them to love others as well and let other people love themselves as well. To let people say, to see, I can see you and see the joy in you and
Thank you,
not have to
Dulé.
not, yes, always, you know what I mean? But not to have to like put you in a box and say, you have to be this. You can be you and I can be me. And that's actually a beautiful thing. And that's what I loved about the piece.
No,
And I
I
really
love it. It's a great message. I'm sure your kids loved it too.
You
So
know, yeah. So I mean, my daughter's 20 years old, so she's not really the target audience, but but yeah, my son is 6 and he loved it. You know,
well, that's all that matters.
yeah.
I know you're a family man, Dulé, but what's coming up next for you? Anything exciting?
You know, right now I'm looking to be home with the family. I'm trying. It's been a big space of me being away. I do show up on Bel Air again this year because I did a recur on Bel Air last season and then going to the final season. So I quickly show up in there, and then we have to see what comes next. Right now I'm just catching my breath, getting ready to I'm gonna soak my legs, get these.
There you go.
Yeah.
But before I let you go, Dulé, I don't know if you remember in my first interview, we played a game called the speed round where
Mhm.
we had to answer as many questions as we could within a minute, but we paused
Ooh,
it to talk about your prom. I don't know if you remember that.
my prom. No,
There
I
was
don't
a speed
remember.
question that I asked you, did you go to your prom? And then
Oh,
we were like, let's pause and let's talk about prom. So
oh
I
yeah.
want to see if we can last longer because you only answered 9 questions in a minute. I want to see if you can answer some more.
Well,
So,
as long as you don't ask me about prom, then I think we should be all right.
where was your first kiss?
Ooh, on stage, behind the curtain.
Did you go to your prom?
I did not.
And you're okay with missing that?
I am. Are you going to press pause?
I will pause it. Okay, tell the story.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then we'll go back. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
I didn't want to go to my prom. I mean, everyone during that time kept saying, this is going to be the best day of your life. And I was like,
It was so stressful. It really was.
yeah, I was like, I'm 17, I'm 18. Like, what? Like, I mean, I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. If I had a girlfriend, then probably I would have. But I just really did not have a desire to go and be around all these people from high school dressed up to go hang
And then
with
you're
them.
sweating. Forget it.
Yeah, and then, and, like I have, still have high school friends that I really enjoyed, but I was ready to move on. I'm like, come on, it's time to go to college, y'all.
Bye, guys. Never
It's been
again.
fun. It's been fun. Thank you.
Bye, Mara. I'm done.
I'll stay in touch with you. Bye.
That's the whole mood right there.
I mean, that's what it was. I was like, come on, man. The best day of my life is just starting. Like, come on, stop it.
That's pretty valid. That's good.
Mhm. And thankfully, as I look back on my life, I'm like, no, Dulé, that you were right. Like, that was not the best moment of your life. And even still, I still would even say everything up to this moment in my life is still not the best moment of my life. The best moment of my life so far has been the birth of my children. You know what I mean? Seeing Levi come is like, oh my gosh, spending this time. But it's still going to keep getting better. I believe that it's always going to keep
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm going to live by your words.
There it is. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Stop punching back in. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm over the prom already. We talked about it. We both thought it was overrated. But whenever you're ready to, I will start the timer again. Only 1 minute.
Hold on. Gotta get my mouth, so I can move
Love it.
fast. All right. All right, here we go.
Great. In three, two, and one. Comedy or drama?
Ooh, drama.
Your favorite childhood cartoon?
Ooh, Thundercats.
Facial hair or clean shaven?
Normally facial hair.
What's your nickname?
Ooh, growing up, doodles.
Doodles. Okay, Doodles. Jazz or pop?
Well, jazz.
Your favorite sneaker brand?
Nike.
Pineapples. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Puffs or Kleenex?
Kleenex.
Home gym or go to the gym?
Home gym.
What's James Roday's worst habit?
Ooh. His worst habit?
Yeah.
Uh, his worst habit. Oh my gosh. Maybe what would his worst habit? Uh Maybe he's addicted to his phone. There he goes.
Okay. Sage or screen?
Ooh. I'm gonna say screen now in this
Onion
moment.
ring or French fries?
French
Oh,
fries.
time's up. You got 12.
Hey, come on.
That's
Come on.
good. But I have one more question that'll, leave some people wondering. Do you think there's going to be another Psych movie?
I think there will be another Psych, yeah, something. I think I have a feeling that there has to be at least one more thing of Psych, I think. So I don't know, exactly. Yeah.
Exclusivo Foundation.
I mean, we're and look, yeah. I think there has to be at least something. I would hope so. It's really just on Peacock and Universal to see for them to say, you know what, let's do something. I don't know if they realize how the vastness of the audience, how and as time goes on, the audience continues to grow. So yes, there's certain things that are in the library now, but we can add to it and more fans would even come. So, but at some point.
That's Dulé.
Oh, no, I appreciate the question. I
For the
appreciate
people.
Not for the people. It's always for the people.
Well, Dulé, it was so great catching up. I can't thank you enough for coming back on. You're always welcome on the Exclusivo anytime.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're gonna make it happen before another 4 years goes by.
Whoa, tappity tap, no?
That's right.
As my phone just tapped, yeah, on the table.
There we go.